Hi guys, today's video we're going to be reviewing an app that I originally reviewed a long time ago, or at least it feels a long time for me. When I say a long time, I don't mean years ago, I mean like maybe 1-2 years ago. This was an app that, well, it was a program, an application that was on Windows. It was one of the first videos that I made. It was either the very first video I made on this channel, or one of the last videos that I made on my last channel. I think it was the first on this one now. Anyway, it's come a long way. It's come a bit of a way since then. Plus now we're on a new operating system. Yes, in case you hadn't guessed already by seeing it in my doc, the app we are reviewing today is none other than the web browser Opera. Now, let's bring it up. I've customized it a little bit, but not a lot, as I say, and I've only just installed or reinstalled it, should I say. So it's, there's some things, some personalization, business and whatever, like the speed dial here will look different once I've connected my account, etc. But there has been some customization been done, but more or less this is what you'll get in the Mac version anyway. And I am reviewing it as the Mac version, so there are some things I might knock on, or there's one thing at least that I might knock on that my Windows using viewers won't have an issue with. Believe it or not, being on Windows, you've got it slightly better as far as Opera is concerned, but not a lot. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Opera. Now, things I've shown you before have been things such as bringing up a web page. Let's just click on one of these random speed dial ones. Now, you see how fast that loaded. Opera is still blindingly fast. Now, if we look down here, we have an ad, look. Now, since the new builds of Opera, the new releases, they've started supporting, like they've included an extension framework, so they support add-ons now, and extensions, whatever you want to call them. Now, with these, some of the first to come along, not surprisingly, has been ad blocking extensions, which I would have said was going to make your life a hell of a lot easier as far as blocking ads is concerned. However, I've installed one now, and as you can see, there's still a great big image ad right here. Now I could get rid of it, oops, if it recognises my right click, I could get rid of it just by going to, or maybe I couldn't. Hang on, block content, there we go. That function works exactly the same. However, what I neglected to notice or bring up before is that block content feature isn't foolproof. It doesn't block everything. It will only block some of the more intrusive ads, and the chances are if you refresh the page, it will just be replaced by a different ad anyway. There's no guarantee it will be totally rid of it. I mean, let's try refreshing now and see. Well, we got lucky in this case, it's a stationary ad, but some of them have particular frames that switch ads. So you block one of the ads or whatever, one of the images, and the next time you visit that site, it will just be replaced by another ad. Now, as I said, with the extensions, it's also included some ad blocking ones. However, once I've tried, well, I've just got one installed now, and as you see, an ad appeared. So it's not doing its job. And basically in the past, that's just what I've seen. It will sometimes block some ads, but they won't block all ads. The ad block extensions for Opera are not very good at all. And most of them pretty much use use Opera's inbuilt content blocking feature, which isn't really blocking ads at all. It's just hiding them, and it's only hiding some of them and not all of them. Home page. Oops, that didn't bring me to speed dial like I wanted. Let's open a new tab instead. Yeah. See, I'm still getting used to Opera again. Let's just randomly bring up another site, shall we? See if odd ads appear. Okay, that one's pretty clear of ads, so I'll give them that. Anyhow, as I say, so that's one of the issues. If you're big on ad blocking, as I can be, I know I shouldn't be saying that really, as I say, because like, you know, I mean, I know that's how a lot of sites make their money, etc. But if you want to make your money with ads and you want people to accept ads, don't have them as obtrusive. When you got these big banner, flash ads or whatever, or image ads, it's taking more bandwidth, as I say, which might take the page longer to load, or it's, you know, using more of a person's data cap, or, you know, it's just, not to mention rendering that image or that big in-your-face, you know, flash banner is using more system resources as well on the person's computer. So it's taking the toll on the actual user. And when it starts doing that, the user just doesn't want it there. So, you know, that's half the time why ads are blocked. They're just small, out-of-the-way text ads that you'll hardly notice. Then it's not so bad. You know, if a person is interested in the ad and was going to click on the site anyway, then they'll notice and be interested in that and click on the site. You know, making this huge bastard, excuse my French, banner ad, you know, isn't going to make them any more likely to click on it, because 90%, 99% of people are, you know, using ad blocking software to get rid of that annoyance anyway. So, you know, just a thought, just putting it out there. I'm supportive of ads in moderation because I know that they can help the site earn the money, you know, but only small text ads or whatever, as I say, and only relative to the site you're visiting. Anyway, that out of the way, let's look at more things, shall we? Now, one thing I'll say is I have noticed before there's been certain page rendering issues when it's come to Opera. Now, this is a new version, so I don't know whether they've fixed these issues. So if I bring up a particular website, for example, this website, when it actually decides to load with Rockmelt, that is. I don't know why it's not. There we go. Now that's how the page should look, rendered correctly and the likes. Now let's see how it looks in Opera, shall we? Now, as I said, this is a new version of Opera now, so they might have fixed it, although it's still somewhat doubtful. Oh? Well, it does look very much like they fixed it. Let me know. No, you see. Now, I'll show you how that page is supposed to look. Why, oh why, Opera cannot do that properly, I have no clue. As I say, it's normal. The page width is set to normal, 100%, you know, so it's nothing to do with that. Or fit to width or whatever. I can try enlarging the page, that doesn't do anything. As I say, it's a page rendering issue, and you know, they do have this on a couple of sites. It isn't a lot, but if it's an important site or a site you use a lot of, then it could very well become a bit of an issue. Not the end of the world, as I say, because you can use a secondary site for that, but it is still an issue. Okay, let's see if I turn off fit to width. No, you see it's still there. Okay, never mind. So, yeah, we have that issue. It's just some pages just will not render as they should. And before any of you Opera fanboys go commenting, shouting out, well, that's because Opera conform to web standards. They aren't the only standards compliant web browser out there. I'm sorry, but I do not believe that for a second. As I say, there are one or two others. Chrome likely, IE have always been terrible for standards. And in fact, most people, work their arse off to make the websites, IE, compatible, as I say. To my knowledge, Safari is pretty good with the standards as well, but I'm pretty sure Chrome is. So, if Opera is the only web browser out there that will render the page properly, what is that telling you? There's obviously something wrong there. So that is one of my biggest issues and one of the biggest, killers as far as me using the web browser on a full-time basis. Another is the ad blocking issue, as I say. Now, this is a review. This isn't meant for me actually bashing the browser. The only thing is you see a lot of the positives are just ones that I've mentioned before in my previous reviews and they've not really changed. You have pretty easy tab management, and if you hover over the tabs that aren't active, you get little thumbnail previews there, which I think is a very nice touch. If you move your cursor down to here, you get this little icon, click and drag, and you get full thumbnail previews of your tabs there, which is useful, but I don't know how many people are actually going to do that. So yeah, the option's there, but not necessarily needed. As I said, we now have an extension framework. If I can find where to go to the extensions, there we go, extensions, get extensions. Now when you first look at it, it first looks like an ordinary busy extension page, but there aren't really that many good extensions. A lot of them are duplicates that both do the same function or whatever, and there aren't that many good extensions for Opera. As I say, a lot of the functions Opera can perform anyway, like LastPass, for example. Opera's built-in password manager is brilliant and more than good enough. If you're on OS 10, as I say, I recommend using 1Password. If you switch between operating systems quite often and browsers, and you want to be syncing all your login information and whatever, then LastPass is useful. Web of Trust, that's one that I use, as I say. Other than that, there's not many great ones that I've come across. As I said before, the ad blocking one seems to be pretty poor. So right in front of your face right now, I may well actually choose a different ad blocker. I may well try out this one. No, you see, a lot of them are saying doesn't work in Opera 11.10. So there's people saying that one doesn't work, or apparently this one does, but I've not restarted the browser yet. So let's try restarting the browser. Opera, see, I can't find it now. There we go. No, I don't want to make it the default for now. Okay, it's reloaded all the tabs. I don't like it doing that by default as well. It's good to have it as an option, but I don't think it should be a default. Let's just randomly load up YouTube. Well, on the positive side, I don't see any ads. So it may well be doing its job. Yeah, it seems to be. Let's try another site. Let's try a CRISPR reload site. That's usually always reliable for 1 or 2 ads. Now, for those that say Opera is faster than Chrome. Just look at how long it took to load that page, and now tell me again that Opera is faster than Chrome. Opera is fast, it's one of the fastest, yeah, but I'm not sure if it's as fast as Chrome. I don't even think it's as fast as Safari on OS 10 at least. No, I'd say either, so it might actually be working now. Now, as I say, Opera is a huge browser. It's got so many different functions, but I'm just reviewing it as your basic browser here without the extra features and stuff. Because like I said, I'm reviewing it personal for, to OS 10 with OS 10 in mind. And now it does have built-in mail features and torrent client and stuff. The torrent client, you're gonna get a better torrent client if you get a purpose-built torrent client. If you really want to use the BitTorrent network for downloading Linux distributions, say, then I recommend Transmission Torrent Client. As I say, it's far better than a built-in torrent function in a web browser would ever be. Also, it has a built-in mail client. Again, my recommendation for mail in OS 10 is always going to be Apple's mail client, so that's why I'm not going over that. Plus, it would just take too long to go over every single feature. So I'm just reviewing it as a web browser. So other than what I've been over, another issue I have with it is, well, just look at it, is the UI for OS 10 is kind of ugly. And that isn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue is skinning. To skin, basically, none of the skins, like, the custom themes or whatever, are really compatible with the OS 10 version. You put them on, they look terrible, and they make a relatively ugly-ish UI just look even damned uglier. So, pretty much, to break it down, not that many changes in the latest version behind the scenes, maybe. If anything, it feels like it's got a little slower, whereas loading pages before was fast as hell. Now it just seems to take a little longer. Let me see, that took a little bit of time to come up as well. It certainly wasn't instantaneous like I remember it being. So yeah, page loading has got a little slower. Then there's the rendering issue on certain sites. There's also the UI, the relatively ugly UI. There's it's still fast. It's just not, oh my god, eye bleeding fast. Another positive, it does now support extensions. The negative side, while it supports extensions, there aren't any real decent extensions, and the best extensions, to be honest, are doing functions that Opera does pretty well on its own anyway. The ad blocker extension, as I say, the one I've got installed now after restarting the browser, I can't see any ads, so it might have worked, but that's not 100% guaranteed, I don't know. Otherwise, I can't really say. It's just, Opera's always been a bit of a meh browser for me anyway. I mean, when I first tried out version 10.50 or whatever, on Windows that is, I was relatively blown away. But then I ended up going back to Chrome and just realising Chrome was a little faster, and just Chrome had some extensions and stuff that I missed in Opera and other stuff, as I say. So then I got into Chrome. When I moved to OS 10, originally I got into Safari and stuff, and just there was no replacement for it. Played little with Firefox until version 4, wasn't really that impressed with it anyway. And then basically ended up switching to Rockmelt as my default. I'm giving Opera another chance, another little try at the moment, as I say, and that's why I'm doing this review, and that's why I've got it installed now. But I'm not very optimistic relating to it. So, my review, if anything, it's gone down since the last review. As I say, it's a good browser. It's not a bad browser at all. I'm not saying it's a bad browser. I'm just saying it's an acquired taste. It has its hardcore fan base, but I think newbies, new users, aren't really going to be able to get into it. 9 times out of 10 nowadays, if you're an Opera fan, you're not a new Opera fan. You've been an Opera fan for a long time, maybe even years, and you're one of its hardcore followers. If you're a new user trying it out, chances are you're not going to be able to get into it. And now with this latest iteration as well, it seems to have slowed down slightly, so it's not really even competition for Chrome in terms of speed now. It's still the most full-featured web browser as standard you will ever get, but with the enormous extension libraries of both Firefox and Google Chrome. Why do you need all them features anyway? In the browser, it's better if you ask me to strip the browser of all these features, have them available as extensions, and then the browser itself can be a lot more lightweight, faster, and simpler. So as I said, not a bad browser, but not a great browser either. An acquired taste, and I think I'm yet to reacquire it, especially on OS X. So I think that's really all I can say about it. I'm sorry if this video has not been that informative. As I say, I'm a little tired, and once I started making the video, I realised I didn't really have much to say about it. I wanted to give my review, because it had been a while, and I wanted to, give my refreshed opinion on the browser, but I realised I've not been through that many of the features and stuff like that, and I just feel because I can't be bothered to really. I mean, it is so feature filled, but 90% of the features I'd never use anyway. So yeah, to sum it up, not great, not bad either. It is a good browser, but it's not great. An acquired taste, usually only loved by the long-term Opera fan, and if you're a new user, you're not likely to fall in love with it. And my recommendations under OS X for web browsers are Safari, if you're not that bothered about user styles or those ways of getting them working, either, or Rockmelt if you're a real heavy social person, or Firefox if you're really extension, add-on dependent, as I say, and you love to have total ad blocking, total everything else, then yeah, Firefox 4 definitely. But Opera, unless you're a long-time user and fan, I wouldn't recommend it, only for the hardcore, I'd say. So yeah, I'm sorry it wasn't probably not been the best video I've put out there, but there it is for you. There's my 2 cents on the browser or whatever, and I hope you're happy with that. So this is J800R. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.